Well, Arturo, thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm a space enthusiast. I'm from Los Angeles, grew up in Mexico, so I started being part of NASA Social in 2015, but a space enthusiast for since the Star Wars days. I mean, I guess everybody had that in our heart, the space exploration and everything. So yeah, and also I was born in '69 when the men walk on the moon. So that's I guess my big connection to the space program.
Wow,
Yeah,
so you would have been 2 or 3 in, I guess you would have been 3 in 72, the last time they went to the moon.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, three. So, but it's just crazy that we stopped going to the moon. It's just I didn't understand why. I guess it was political and financial. But I'm glad that now NASA is looking into it. So everything is looking that we will. So so I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it really comes down, I think, to what your long-term view of humanity is. Uh, if you think it's all going to end on this world, going out in space doesn't make so much sense.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's always that portion, and then I think of it like going to Mars or to the moon or to other planets. I think of how many people can actually get there, and as human race, what are we going to be able to accomplish? Are we going to continue to be as many or just a few humans? It's just so many questions. It's just mind blowing, to be honest with you. But it's exciting in a way because I mean we've been to the moon and we're going back. So we'll see what happens.
But just to think about the long-term vision of humanity, about 500 years ago, um, Christopher Columbus came to North America, and that began a
Hmm.
period of settlement and European migration into the Americas. And if you look out 500 years from now, I guess the first question is humanity still around? And then the second question is, are we still only on this Earth, or have we actually branched out to the rest of the solar system?
True.
What do you think?
Um, well, I mean, there are so many things that like a space don't really want us there, and we're trying to, right? But so based on that, I mean, I think of humanity. I mean, it's a big challenge. It's not like exploring our world that originally people thought it was flat, and all those conspiracy theories that we're gonna fall off at the edge of the world, and let's not try or let's try it, and they end up exploring and discovering that there was a lot more beyond that. So I think if we push ourselves a little more, we'll be able to find out, how far we can get, and hopefully, I mean, Mars, as we know, it's not like Earth. We still need artificial oxygen and a lot of challenges, like solar radioactivity and many things that are against us. But thinking of humanity, where we're gonna be in 500 years. I mean, right now we are dealing with a pandemic that kind of was an eye opener for a lot of new generations, because it reminded us how fragile we are in how we need to work together in a problem to overcome it. So right now we are having those issues that people believe in it or they don't believe in it. So we're struggling to make it work to be safe. So I mean all those things. When I think of Mars and humans in Mars, one of my questions is: are we gonna be just the same way like we are here? Like everybody's gonna have this group believes on let's do this, and the other group is gonna say no, let's not do it, or we're gonna be a team and just accomplish something together. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, the pandemic seems to be a good practice for what we will do in another world when we face a challenge that threatens our existence. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that makes sense, Nathan.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would love to think that space brings us together. But you know, it's like wherever you go, you're there too. You know, it's like if I mean, we're going to be the same people in space as we are here. It's just we'll be
True.
more stressed and won't be able to go outside and breathe the
Yeah,
open air.
true. I mean, just the psychology behind. I mean, just to be in Mars. Imagine like you want to go and see the sunset and remove your helmet, and you're not gonna be able to. I mean, that's a big challenge, you know. Or I heard astronauts that they said when they're on board the ISS, one of the things they miss is the smell of the ocean. So it's like those minor things that I think psychologically are gonna affect us a lot. So right now, yeah, it's again a lot of challenges to not only how to get there because we know how to do it, but it's the survival, how we're gonna do that, and how much. I guess the quicker we assimilate to the new ways of living, that will definitely set the tone as per how we're gonna survive there, obviously. But yeah, it's just we as humans are so complex. So imagine six people that are not fully integrated, living in the same quarters, how they behave with each other, and what's going to happen if they don't get along, and then they are in the surface of Mars. It's not like you can take an Uber and come back. You know, you have to stay and deal with it. So I think it's those things that you're trying to mention, right? Like,
Well, and even if you look at Earth experiments, they had that Biosphere 2 project in the last part of the 1980s, early part of the 1990s, and it was I think what 8 people, yeah, locked into a fully self-contained environment for like 2 years, and even here on Earth with help right outside and a lot
yeah,
of resources, they've fissioned into two separate groups that were had a lot of friction between them.
yeah, and I think it's in our nature. You know, it can be very destructive in a way. So it's really challenging. I mean, I'm surprised that the ISS. I mean, obviously they never talk about the issues that they probably have internally, because everything seems to be always peaceful and everybody gets along, and you have cosmonauts and there are people from other countries there, and it's only six of them, but it seems that they make it work. So I don't know. I guess it's training. Uh, like Artemis taking humans to the moon, um, it's not going to be just astronauts, probably it's just going to be civilians as well. So the civilians are going to need to be trained. And I think that training is important because it provides a different type of endurance and behavior, like when it comes to taking decisions and you're part of a team that is trained, you don't question it as much as if you were a civilian that were sent there. So I think that probably, might make a huge difference in these cases. Because I've seen like those groups that they go 2 weeks and they stay in the same compound. And I asked them like, because I'm in contact with some in Instagram, and I'm like, so how was it? Like the 2 3 weeks that you guys share, was it really smooth? And they had some issues, but it's just interesting that everybody's so different, and again being in the same place. I mean, going back to the pandemic, like even families that live together are not getting along anymore because they've been so many days in the same space together. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. It's like and again, I imagine how it's gonna be Mars, like I don't know, it's again, it's crazy, but I hope we make it. I'm optimistic, so I know it's not gonna be easy. So
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. This whole COVID 19 situation has been a mass simulation of what a trip to Mars would be like. People locked
absolutely.
into little small compartments for months and weeks at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like here, like I'm in my bedroom. So this is my little space, right? And I'm used to being by myself. I mean, I live with my sister, but it's uh yeah, I think of the families like it's foreign, they don't get along, and then you have this isolated spot that you cannot do much but try to learn to live with each other. And yeah, we are failing at that. I mean, like divorces are increasing, as you know. So during the pandemic, it's just crazy. Like, my goodness.
I rather
So
divorces than homicides.
true. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And some people are still getting married, but it's just yeah. But it's a good learning. The pandemic, I think, couldn't happen in a better time because we are, 2024 is not far, but we're still dealing with this after a year. So yeah, so I think it's a good drill per se, So yeah.
So you're originally from Mexico. When did you come to the US?
Well, I was born in LA, but I grew up in Mexico, and I came back when I was 19. So yeah, I've been here since then. So 32, 30, yeah, 32 years uh, in Los Angeles, back in LA. So yeah, it's crazy. Just you know,
So since you're in LA, have you gone by the SpaceX facility and seen
yeah,
the first stage Falcon that they have there and the Dragon capsule and all that?
yeah. I've been there. I've been there twice, fortunately, and yeah, it's quite an experience. I mean, it's amazing that it doesn't look like a big factory per se, or you know, but it's just amazing what they do there. I mean, Falcon 9 and all these things happening that are so uh, advanced. So yeah, no, it's exciting to be there.
Did you get to go inside?
I did. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I've
wow.
been twice. Yeah, I've
And
been
see the
twice because
factory and everything and get a
yeah,
tour? Oh,
yeah,
what was
yeah.
that like?
It's uh I mean, I couldn't believe it the first time when I was there, just because it's I guess hard to get in, but it's nice to see the different stages of how they build the Falcon 9, uh, the engines. So unfortunately, they don't let us take pictures, so there is not a lot we can do as far as documenting it. But just the fact that yeah, I was there with people that worked there. I mean, that was amazing. Um, my first one was in 2015, and the second 2017, I believe it was. So yeah, it's not often, but yeah, uh, see the 3D printers, the yeah Falcon 9 structures. I mean, it's just amazing talking to the engineers. Unfortunately, I didn't see Elon, but but it was nice just to be where he was. So yeah.
2016, the in McGregor, Texas, they had a what is it? Chamber of Commerce had like their annual
Mhm,
dinner, and Gwen
mhm,
Shotwell was the guest speaker. So we drove up there to McGregor and got to see her and listen to her present. But then, Elon that year was going to present at the International Astronautical Congress, which is being held in Guadalajara,
mhm.
um, about the interplanetary transportation system, I think is what it was called at the time. So myself, my son, and my wife, we all went there and we met up with
Nice.
some other SpaceX people in the SpaceX Reddit group, and they
Uh-huh.
knew somebody that was in the marketing department at SpaceX, um, or public relations or something. and they were able to get us seats like in the VIP section. So I was like
Oh, nice.
4 seats from the stage when he was talking about, the interplanetary transportation system, which became the BFR, which is now a Starship and super heavy. So
Mhm.
that was a really thrilling time.
And imagine it was just 4 years ago, like well, 4.5, no? But yeah, it's
And
and
they
what
were
I love
supposed to
him,
be building it in LA, and now they're building it in Texas.
right? Yeah. Well, I mean, conceptually, they still building it here, they said. So, it's but yeah, I mean, he moved to Texas, so I think it makes more sense. There is more land for it. So yeah, and unfortunately, the SNS has been struggling a little bit, but hopefully SNS 11 will do well this time. Did you watch the SNN 10
I
last
did, I
time?
did.
Yeah,
It went up, it landed, the smoke was
I know.
there. The family comes home. They're like, "Hey, what have you been doing?" I was like, "It landed, and let me show it to you." And I'm like showing them a replay, and then I get a text message from somebody else that's watching and says it blew up. I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I know. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either because they cut the transmission, so everything seemed that it was fine. And but this guy, everyday astronaut, he kept transmitting, and that's when I noticed. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But I'm good. I'm glad they are doing this test. Because we don't want that happening when we're in space. So yeah,
And it's not just testing the equipment, but it's training your entire workforce, how to build this
absolutely.
equipment, how to transport these huge structures, how to fuel them up, how to know if they're going to work right, how to manage the flight, how to manage the cleanup, but that's a different story.
True. Yeah.
But so I feel like, you know, um, with these rockets that take 10 years to develop and get launched once per year,
Mhm.
uh, that actually feels a lot more dangerous and a lot more difficult to maintain than rockets that you're building, one a month, two a
Often.
month, three a month,
Right.
and you're launching multiple times a week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, it makes a big difference. It's. I work in the advertising industry, marketing and advertising, and one of our keys is reach and frequency. So the more you do it, the better. So no, but you're right. I think it's risky when they don't do it often. In the Artemis SLS, I mean, it's like they're doing it, but it's like we'll see how it performs. It's an ambitious project. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
and the Starliner, that's been a little interesting.
yeah.
The one with the company of all the historic knowledge and training, and who is like the only person we need for space development is being shown up by this new guy that's on the block.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's what makes it also interesting for us that we love space, but just to see the different companies that are coming with their own projects and pitching in, and we'll see, like Boeing and Virgin, and I mean, it's not only SpaceX, but SpaceX has been really successful. So we'll see. Hopefully, the others will catch up, uh, and we'll see that. I mean, the United Launch Alliance, I mean, they do well. It's I guess that's the one reason why we are in Mars. So so kudos to them. But yeah, it's a good industry, I guess. No, it's a good time right now. It's just so much happening. Yeah. How about you? Are you from Houston originally, Texas, or?
I have a bit of an accent that I developed somehow, but I can't explain it.
I think we all do.
My neighbors ask me where not the neighbors I live near to right now, but previously I had some neighbors like, where are you from? Like from Houston. They're like, okay, well, if you don't want to tell us.
That's funny.
Sorry.
Oh man, no, 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 it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I'm so glad that I found out that you're in marketing, because I've asked people, um did you know that NASA's planning to send people to the moon again in 2024? And the vast majority, I would say as much as 80% of the non-space enthusiasts, non-space
Mhm.
workers would say no. They had no
Right.
idea. In fact, the range of answers were, "Oh, I thought they shut down the space program in 2011,"
Wow.
to, "Why is NASA keeping it a secret?" to "NASA should be on social media more." Uh, you know, it's
They're not enough.
well,
Oh my
it
God,
goes to
that's
show
crazy.
you how effective the
Yeah,
algorithms are about concentrating information
true.
that you previously expressed an interest in. Like, I mean, you and
Yeah,
me were like, yeah, I already knew that, but
yeah,
everybody else is like, they're getting whatever they've clicked on previously, be it,
it's true.
or whatever.
Yeah, no, and I see it when NASA has a live broadcast, even SpaceX. If you look at how many people are viewing, it's not as many as you expect, and it's kind of disappointing because, like, I noticed those numbers and I'm like, ah, that looks low. But somebody was explaining, it's like, well, because not everybody's watching it through YouTube, they're watching it through different, even LinkedIn now broadcast NASA Live. So it's, I guess, another channel. And yeah, in marketing, we're looking at all those things where people are consuming media and how they are using it. So, but I'm not surprised that people are not aware of what's happening with the space program because not everybody, uh, even just as simple, not everybody looks up in the sky and look at the stars. Sometimes when the International Space Station flies by, I'm there and I'm all excited looking up, and then people like just keep walking, like they don't pay attention. So I'm like, wow, like, it's not important unless it's tragic. So I mean, like Apollo 13, oh my
Mm.
gosh, then everybody turned their attention back to space. So I think that's what is happening in our nature. I mean, so we are so busy that, like you said, the algorithms are affecting us in many ways. So it's yeah. What I try to do against that is just try to visit different profiles, different interests. Like not only NASA, but I follow different groups just to kind of see how that changes. I like Formula One, so today Scuderia Ferrari they released their new vehicles, and now I'm getting a lot of different ads on that. So it's crazy, it's scary, but yeah.
Yeah, what I hate is after you buy a product, then you start getting overwhelmed with their ads. You're like, I already got one. How do I, how do I not get this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And not only in social media, but even if you check your email, you get a banner with the same product. It's like
Mm.
really scary. It's like, oh my gosh. Uh, with the vaccine like COVID-19, people, one of the theories was they're putting chips on people. I'm like, what are you talking about? They are already tracking us. They know what we do, what we saw, how long we saw it. So yeah,
Yeah, a
it's
relative of mine heard an NPR episode talking about conspiracy theories where they were talking about the Bill Gates chip thing. Somehow he only heard the Bill Gates chip thing and he came at home all upset, saying, how Bill Gates is trying to put chips on us. And after I was like, so where'd you hear that from? It was like NPR. And then I went to NPR and like tried to find the segment. And then I found the segment that the context was this is what some people are saying and as a conspiracy theory. But it is even in the context of an article that's talking to try and discredit that theory, people still walked away believing the conspiracy.
that it was, yeah, that it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what is that's one of the reasons why I'm in advertising, because I saw the power of advertising psychologically, how you can affect people's mind. It's just, again, it's the frequency. It's that message that you put in their heads, and you can change their shopping behavior. So
Um,
it's amazing.
do you read science fiction?
Not often. Uh, I watch science fiction movies, but yeah.
The reason I ask is there's this author, Frederick Pohl. He was very
Mhm,
prolific in like the 70s, 80s, 90s. Um, and he was in advertising for a while, but some of his stories center around ad agencies and their effect on things. Like we
mhm,
want to go and colonize the Venus, and
mhm.
it's about how are we going to market this to people and how are we going to make it happen. Like it was focused on the selling it to the people aspect
Mhm.
of it. I thought it's kind of neat. But yeah,
No, no, no. Go ahead.
I
No,
was gonna
I'm
say,
listening.
but if NASA came to you and said, "Hey, we wanted to get out there that we're going back to the moon to stay. It's very important, and we want to relate it to everybody's lives," what would you advise NASA to do in terms of advertising and marketing?
Well, right now, I believe they're doing a good job because I've seen more of NASA even in the local news. I guess because the pandemic and the news don't have a lot of stories going on, that even SpaceX now you see uh, here in Los Angeles, Channel 5, KTLA, they broadcast sometimes a little bit of the live broadcast from SpaceX, which is it's exciting to see. But for NASA, I think they are doing great. I mean, the NASA socials are part of that push to kind of reach out to different people, not only people within the space industry, but they have a lot of programs with teachers. So I think that's generating a little more buzz on that end. And in terms of merchandising, I mean, they are so iconic that I don't think they need to do much, except that uh, then you get into the conspiracy theories that people don't like NASA because they think it's too secretive or they're not telling the truth. And, but I think marketing wise, nowadays, they are in a good place, I believe. But perhaps it is because, like, you and I are in groups and all we see is NASA, 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 and SpaceX. But I think I mean, because I've seen it, see them often. That yeah, even people where I work, uh, they know I'm a space enthusiast, so they develop that kind of interest in a space. So now we have those topics to talk about because they're like, did you see the launch this weekend, or this mission is coming up, or you saw the rocket exploding? It's like so they get into it, and before they were not so much, but I think is that, and also the fact that NASA is reaching out to kids. So in advertising you are building your next generation of consumers, right? So it's I guess that's the magic touch. So yeah.
And I think there is a lot of interest in space. I just started volunteering at Space Center Houston, which is
Mhm,
the big tourist complex right next to
mhm.
Johnson Space Center. And I
Yeah,
went to the volunteer orientation training today. And at 10 o'clock, there was a line out waiting to get in. I mean, people are really interested in finding out more, and it's a
yeah.
good place.
Yeah, yeah, no, and also NASA became more diverse. Obviously, with women now, they're pushing a lot for women astronauts, women engineers. So I think that is absolutely helping them a lot. So I see it as positive for them and for the community because they are inspired to be more than just moms and wives. It's like I think I love that portion that a lot of kids are just more interested in a space than when I was growing up. So
Um,
yeah,
You mentioned you watch sci-fi movies. I was wondering if you came across an Apple TV one called For All Mankind.
actually, I'm on. I watched today the second episode, and I'm hooked. I finally figured out that it's all like sci-fi, absolutely. But it's really interesting the way they're doing that show. Have you seen the whole series or
I saw all of
the episodes?
the first season, and now I'm working through
Yeah,
the second season. Every year I do the 30-day free trial of Apple TV to binge watch the season, and then I cancel it and
got
wait
it,
until the next year.
got it. Yeah, right now they have an offer. If you buy any Apple product, you get a year free. Just so you know.
Oh, really? Even
Yeah,
iPhone, huh?
yeah. Even
Apple Watch.
a band. I mean, I just
Oh,
bought a band for my watch, and I got a free year. I'm like, okay.
oh,
So yeah, I'm happy about that. I mean, and as it is, it's not that pricey. I think it's like $9.
yeah, it's not too
But
much.
just the fact that they're offering it for a year, like free, I'm like, that's good. And that's how I got to see it. Because yeah, I'm like, oh, this is space related, so let me watch it. So yeah, no, it seems interesting. Yeah, it's I'm in the third episode, like Nixon astronauts, I believe. So they're all female astronauts. So I'll see what happens maybe later tonight. Yeah, it's
Every
and
Oh, go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna just ask you a different, a whole different question. So I didn't want to derail your thought.
No, it's fine.
Oh,
No,
if it
go ahead.
was safe and affordable, would you go to space?
Yeah, I mean, I would. It's just one of my only concerns is obviously how microgravity affects the human body, and what will the requirements be? What age will be safe? Because I mean, obviously, we're getting older as time by. So yeah, that will be the only thing. It's but definitely if it was safer and guaranteed that yeah the rocket is not going to explode, let's go. I will do it in an instant. Right now it's with this dear moon. Have you heard about it? The yeah
Absolutely. Yeah,
the yeah
I'm all signed up. Now I'm taking art lessons so I can
yeah
have a chance.
cool. Yeah, so that one, it's I mean it's exciting, but then you look at a SN, like uh, the rockets blowing up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's. I mean, there is always that risk, but hopefully that'll be fun. I mean, for the people that are selected to go. Um, so we'll see. I mean, a lucky one. So who knows? It's like the Willy Wonka, right? The
Uh,
Willy Wonka of our times.
well, I mean, talking about that, how about the Inspiration 4 mission? Uh,
I not familiar with that one. So
Jared Isaacman, who's the CEO of Shift 4 Payments,
mhm.
bought a Dragon Falcon mission to orbit for later this year, and he has 4 seats, one for himself.
Oh,
Two of them he's given to St. Jude's. One of them is for a
oh,
St.
that's the
Jude's
St. Jude one.
employee.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm
then if you
sorry.
donate to
Yes.
St. Jude's, and then the last one is the person that comes with a viral video. Uh,
Yeah, and I think the deadline was last week, no, for that to donate or
you
something
had to
like
donate.
that.
It was
So
February. Yeah, you had to.
yeah.
I didn't get selected. I'm sorry to say.
Uh, I didn't donate, but I'm sure St. Jude made good money. So I mean, it's a good cause anyway. So you
You're
know,
talking about the number of watchers on the YouTube and being disappointed. Um, I was hoping they would really exceed their goal in terms of fundraising, and that stimulated a lot of other people to follow along. But their goal was 100 million, and they raised 10 million.
oh wow.
I know.
Mm.
Mm.
I think 100 million is ambitious. Uh, I don't know. I mean, we are in a pandemic, but I know they do well. Like there are a lot of people donating all the time. So yeah, they used to be one of our clients. So yeah, it's. I mean, it's always important to donate, but there are so many different organizations nowadays like asking for help that yeah, it's challenging because right now you have a lot of people not working. So it's yeah, that's a little crazy. So but yeah, 100 million, I was like, wow,
I
yeah,
know
that's a lot.
$10 for a chance to go to space
Yeah,
seems worthwhile. Of course,
absolutely.
considering the ticket is $55 million to go to space, and you can buy a
Yeah.
lottery ticket for $1, maybe your maybe your odds are about the same with the lottery
Yeah,
ticket.
yeah, but yeah, it's not a lot of people that subscribe then to that, if it was 10 million. But again, 10 million is 10 million, and it's a lot of people.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, the other thing is, how many people does that represent? Is that, you know, is that like 5 million people, 9 million people?
Mhm.
You know, it'd be kind of interesting to get a breakdown like that. I think the minimum donation was $10. So that means less than a million people donated.
Mm,
And they even had
yeah,
a Super Bowl ad.
probably that's why they didn't reach the 100 million, because it's I mean, we are, I believe it's 380 million, right, in the United States.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody does the same thing. So yeah, it makes sense that 10 million only reacted to it. I think, so
But I think the idea of being able to reach a large number of people in 30 days to give money is really difficult. I mean, if
yeah,
they had like a few months of build up and then had an
true.
open time to donate and then closed it off, I mean, could they have reached their goal? This is the
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but it's still 100 million. I think they were like aiming really high, and it's good. But I don't know. It's yeah, it seems like a high number.
yeah. I mean, that's 10 million people giving $10.
Right. Yeah, which it
Yeah,
didn't happen. Well,
that does. Yeah, no, it didn't
in
happen.
theory.
Yeah, in
In
theory.
theory. Right. So yeah.
Yeah, you could multiply as many imaginary numbers together to get any other imaginary numbers, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So let me sell this key change for $1 and I'll be millionaire.
Yeah, if only one
So
person, if only 1% of the world's population buys it, that's this many million people.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's like it sounds easy. Convince them to do it. That's when you need an advertising agency.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how do you cross into other bubbles? I mean, how does NASA cross into the non-NASA bubbles? I mean,
Oh, that's well, right now I think when you look at the environment, it's affecting people. Like people that don't believe in a the space program are being affected by the huge storms, like in Texas. You guys were freezing like a few weeks ago, and then you have people that still don't care about the space program, but then when they find out NASA is tracking these storms, or NASA is providing the equipment to better track these systems, that might generate some sort of interest for those that are outside the bubble. So they might probably link it, but I think that will require a little more work from NASA to advertise that portion. Like, thanks to us, we have these satellites that are doing this, and I don't think that's been promoted right now. So I think that could be an angle. I'm guessing, just because the environment is affecting us all and affecting the infrastructure of different states. Like, last year, Louisiana, how many hurricanes they got hit with. So, and the
and sometimes
infrastructure
two at the same
is,
time.
yeah, yeah. So the infrastructure is being affected. Miami is below sea level. They're still okay for now, but how the infrastructure is going to be affected. But again, I guess if NASA would advertise a little more on the benefits they provide for humanity or for mankind, I mean, I think that will probably attract different people to generate some interest for them. Uh, I think that's my portion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. Well, I know I told you the interview would take 15 minutes. I'm so sorry to keep you for so long, but I really
No, no, no.
enjoyed talking to you so much. Is there anything
Thank
that
you,
you want
Nathan.
to talk about that we didn't get to?
Well, just we touch on humans to the moon, I guess. No, you wanted to touch on that, but we did, and Mars. No, so just want to encourage people to continue uh, supporting the space program and see where we can get as explorers, because I think that's how we got to expand our horizons as humans in the world. So I hope that makes sense. But it's just like we were talking about Christopher Columbus. He took the risk, and yeah, he expanded our horizons. So I think we should have that same mentality and see where it takes us. Even if it's not everybody, probably a few, but yeah, we'll get there somewhere. So yeah.
So in a decade or two, whenever Elon has regular trips to Mars and there's a base there developing into a city, um, do you do you see yourself potentially kind of making that leap?
Myself, well, I mean, I'm 52. So 10 years, I mean, that's gonna probably be challenging, because it's I mean, it depends. If I'm in good health, probably I will definitely take the 6 month, 7 month trip to Mars and experience it. But I think yeah, that's a little bit of a challenge for the older generations. It's so I think we need to support the youngsters, and because they are the future. I mean, like the Mars generation that we've been talking about for in the NASA groups for quite a few years, have better chances. I mean, I would love to go to Mars, but I just hope I have the strength in my body to do it, and to be in good condition for it. It's like, that's what I tell people. Just, it's not all mentally, but physically as well. So yeah, I think that's
My
important.
my view on 52 has changed over the years. At one point in time, I think I remember it being gold, but now that I'm 45, I think 52 is where it all begins. That's the start of life.
Let's start living. No, that's great. Thank you, man. No, I
Okay,
really appreciate it. But yeah, no, it's good. Uh, no, so I hope this is helpful, man. I don't know.
it's
It seems
fantastic.
like, yeah, no, you have a good project going. So I look forward to hopefully see the final project. Are you gonna publish it
Yeah,
eventually, or?
I mean, all the interviews get published to countdowntothemoon.org.
Uh-huh.
And let's see, occasionally I bring them up in my North Houston Space Society meetings. And then I'm actually doing a talk for a Minneapolis Comic-Con this Friday on my project. It's called MarsCon,
Oh,
actually.
nice.
So I'm
Uh-huh.
doing an hour-long segment on my project, what it is and what I've learned and that type of thing.
Cool. So then it's an ongoing project pretty much. No, it's not like this is the final project. It's like just ongoing.
Yeah, just ongoing. My only commitment is to do an interview a day and publish it on that site until the end of 2024. Occasionally, people say until we return to the moon. I'm like, no, 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 no. End of 2024. That's the
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
end.
Otherwise, yeah. No, that's gonna be a lot. No, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna check your site, definitely. I'll take a look at it.
And
So
if you know anybody else that'd be willing to have a conversation, I have I think like over like 1,390 more days to go. So I need to
okay,
make more friends.
perfect. Definitely. No, I'll talk to some people and send them your way. So yeah,
But that'd
so I
be
can
fun.
help you on that.
I really would appreciate that.
All right.
Okay. Well, you have a good night then.
Thank you. You too, and thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you for participating.
Thanks. All right. Have a good evening.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.